Starting soon. Ten, 9. What is up? Welcome back. All right, this is going to be a fairly quick stream. If you're joining us or watching this later, I thank you. Please like and subscribe. We're almost at 350 on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. Let's do it. Let's see. All right, I'm going to jump in here in a second. What are we talking about today? Well, been vibe coding for a couple hours now on this little video editing app that we have here called CutScript. I actually was thinking about building something like this from scratch, and then I happened to come across a YouTube short, and someone already had done the basic part that I wanted. So I think there's an app called Descript this is kind of based on. It's like a paid app where you can edit your videos just based on text. Here's a screenshot. You can see it's going to transcribe the video, and then you have all the words here that you said, and it's lined up with the video over here. And if you want to delete a word or a sentence, you can do that and then re-export. You can use AI to find filler words like or like, which I do say a lot, create clips and export those. Now, this has some basic features. I mean, it has all that as the basic set of features, but there's other things that I really wanted from it. And so I already started, like, just getting this running. I already added like 5 new things. So this is my fork of it, and I want to put the changes back upstream with PRs. So if you look at the original guy's data ants, I don't think he's touched it in like a month. Originally built it like 9 months ago. Interesting. It's funny because I actually built something similar. I don't think I ever posted it. It was one of the very first things I actually ever vibe coded. I don't even know if it was vibe coding at that point, but used Claude or Copilot. I don't know what it was I used at the time, but very similar app. Might have it on my GitHub. I'll have to go back and check. But anyways, I thought I would start from scratch, or in this case, start from this guy's work, because it's a really good starting place. It is a Python web server with a front end done in Electron, or you can run it when you're developing just in Chrome or whatever. And it's going to use WhisperX for the diarization, which is the transcription saying who. I don't know if it's actually diarization. I think this might be a misquote, because diarization is supposed to tell you who was speaking. I think it's just transcription. AI assistance for finding the filler words and then deciding on what a good clip would be. It reads your transcripts, and then, here's a 30-second clip or a 17-second clip. I'll show you. It's pretty easy to demonstrate. And then it does have undo redo, which I didn't actually realize because I just told Claude to do it. And it's like, it already exists. It just didn't have any UI for it. So the last thing I built actually is some UI for this. So if you look, you can see what commits I've stacked on top here. So been going at it for a couple, 3 hours, I guess. So everything here. But there's an even better way to check it out, which is, so I added this little note giving this guy credit. This is his README. I think I slimmed it up and I pulled stuff into other documents. This is kind of like how I like to do my readmes. I kept his license, which is just MIT. But one thing to check here is this attribution. So it talks about what's different. So it's built on his app. Like I said, it's Electron, React, Whisper Transcription, WhisperX, FFmpeg, MPEG, and then he's got an integration for Olama, OpenAI, or Claude for the AI stuff. And what I added was File System Access API for browser mode. So I'll show you exactly what I mean with that. Bulk copy paste transcript editing. This is the main thing I wanted to do. I actually started this on my phone a couple days ago. When I first found this, I forked it, opened it up in Claude Code on my phone, and was like, hey, I don't know if this app even has this or not. I've never actually ran it, but can you go, do some planning and investigation around what it currently does? And what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to take the entire transcription and give it to Claude or Codex or ChatGPT and say, take multiple clips of this transcript and form like a narrative, like an actual good video out of it. Not just clips, but like full narrative video, right? And that's something that I want to break out of my 3-hour streams because I often will jump around a lot. I'll talk about different topics. And so I want Claude or somebody to be able to think about it and be like, what's the proper order of events? What's the stuff that we should cut out? And so I wanted to be able to bulk copy and bulk edit. So once I take the entire transcript, give it to Claude, it cuts out all the crap, maybe even reorders it. I haven't done the reordering part. It actually kind of just came to me. I don't think I originally included the reordering part, but definitely the bulk editing. And paste it back in and then have it do all the cuts instead of like one at a time or just the filler word cutting. Just cut the entire narrative that I want out of my video or into my video, I guess. So that was the main feature. But then also backend status and control. So this is a small one, but as I was trying to run it for the first time, you have to run the Electron app to get the backend, and it also has a UI. But then you can also launch in like dev mode in Chrome, maybe so you could use the dev debug tools. I'm not quite sure why, but I was able to just start the backend from. Oh, if you don't do the Electron app and you just try to do the front end, the backend won't be running. So you have to run a command for that. And I was like, this is weird. Why don't I just open up the web app and run the backend at the same time? Which now I think if I could just do it with a command, but still, I wanted to see the status of the backend. So for whatever reason, I added a little way to re-enable or restart the backend or whatever from the front end. Just a small experience thing when you're developing. Dev environment, I moved over to UV. I'm on Mac. I think the original guy might have been on Windows. I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, he probably could have used UV too, but it's like it's the hotness right now and for a while with Python, package management and stuff and run environments. So I switched over to that. What else? And then I restructured this documentation. And so other docs are the architecture, attribution, features, getting started, keyboard shortcuts, legacy, fit, GitHub actions. Yeah, see, I don't have, these are his, I think. I don't think I did anything there. I didn't do anything on shortcuts. This, I think I just reworked to use UV. Yeah, so you guys can check this out right now. You don't even have to download the transcription models. Whisper, it will do it as part of the first editing you do, the first time you run it with that model. All right, without further ado, let me actually show you this thing running. So I've got 2 running. I got the 5174 port. This is actually his original. I just moved it to a new port. You'll also notice another thing here. This is what I meant with file access in the browser. So we're in Dia. It's like Chrome. It's Chrome based. It says running in browser. Paste the full path to your video file. I was like, no. I'm immediately going to change that. I was like, why can't I just select a file? There's file APIs now for Chrome or for any file, any browser these days. So if you look at my version, boom, open video file. All right, so let's go pick one of my YouTube videos. This is the first video I made this year. It immediately starts doing the transcription because I had a model selected already. I'll go back and show you that, but basically there's like a tiny model, a basic model, all the way up to like large models. I think I've downloaded three of them for now. So they work at various speeds, but better quality the higher up you go. Obviously, the larger models are better. And these are traditional ML models or Whisper models, which is there's a bunch of products out there that use the Whisper models. You could just download them for free though. Use them with different command line tools. And in this case, it's already got the model, so just jump to transcribing, and then there's a couple other steps you'll see. I didn't mention it, but that was another thing that wasn't working properly. It would just say loading or something, 0% the whole time. So I had Claude add in a couple steps with different percentages. All right, so this actually shouldn't take too long. It was a 28-minute video. I could start it now. It's pretty loud though. Let me mute it. There's no mute. Okay, we're gonna add that. Gotta start making a to-do list. Let me do that on the side here. Add muting. Cool. Maybe there's no mute while it's doing this transcribing. I notice I can't. Oh, I can jump ahead. Okay, cool. Yeah, so in this video, I talked about the ball pit clone that I was doing for Godot. Never really quite. Oh, and this is the other one. This is the mining game, both for Godot. Never was great and was fighting it a lot, mainly because I was using Godot instead of just doing web games like I do now. If you go look at my website, most of my games are web-based, because it's just so much faster with Claude Code. It just knows how to do web games. You guys, oh, you haven't seen this. Okay, so I added this beast mode at the beginning. You just jump right into the game. You can like mine everything. It's auto mining. I think you can click to shoot and change your weapon. I usually play this on phone. Sorry if it's loud. You could skip the intro, but that's the intro. And then this guy comes in out of nowhere. You have grown too powerful, fracker. Tap to continue. The belt was not built for one to dominate. I am restoring balance. Systems failing. So yeah, this is like a mode I added to intro, because to show you like kind of where the game might be going, where you're like super OP, but then you start out. Now you do the tutorial, and you can't mine this guy, right? You gotta buy this laser, but I can't afford it yet, right? So now you have like a bit more context, but yeah, it says keep shooting the asteroids. So I'll shoot one of these guys. You've probably seen this in one of my old streams if you watched. And then right click to collect, and then this guy, he'll start shooting you. Enemy ship approaches, shoot it down. But he's pretty weak and doesn't do much damage at all. Okay, that's a bug. I somehow switched to the laser from the tutorial. I'm not supposed to have this. And it's not even doing damage. I don't even know what I hit to do that. Yeah, so, okay, finally killed it. Pick up the scrap. I usually play from mobile, and the controls are usually on screen. Alright, so click on the shop icon as it appears, sell all, and then you want to buy this upgrade. Cool. Drive through and you'll get a health boost. Cool. Gotta fix that too because it spawns on the wrong side now. Another dude out here. Let's finish him off. But yeah, you gotta use the laser for that, which I actually do have. I think I just have to find, what is it, Q? It's Q. For some reason Q switches weapon. Cool. Anyways, I don't want to. That's pretty much all I've got so far. But yeah, all my games nowadays are in web, and here's like a voxel style one. This is one I made with my nephews to play on stream. I won't go through all of them again. I did this, I think, on my last stream. This is a really bad one. Yeah, this is actual me messing around with 3D. We did this on stream. The last stream I did was all about building this little UI here to test out the different models. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Anyways, back to what we were doing. See, this is why I have to edit my videos, because it's jumping around too much. All right, where were we? Okay, so it finished transcribing, and you can see, I don't know how good this transcription is. I chose like the second model out of 4 or 5 different levels, and so it's probably not great. We can try it out. Here's another feature I want to add. Let me add this to the list. When you click a word, it should jump to that point in the video. It doesn't. Jump to point in video when clicking word. Maybe double click, right? Because clicking will delete, like highlight for deletion. Let me see if I can click multiple words. I have to do shift click, but I could delete a sentence like that, right? But if I want to navigate the timeline, I can do it from down here, and it does scroll the text, which is nice. So it goes the other way. And then let's see if I can mute now. Yeah, still no mute, so we'll do that one. Yeah, and if I delete a word, you can bring it back with this restore. And then I added these undo, redo to the UI now. So let's see what undo does. Undo probably shouldn't do anything yet. I didn't really do anything. Yeah, so maybe that should be disabled at the start. I'll add that. Disable undo at starts. I also, as Claude was adding the undo redo button, he realized that it was tracking things like the playhead and just different stuff, maybe the scroll or something, but actions that weren't actual things that you'd want to undo, redo. And there's this plus minus here that doesn't seem to work. I noticed this earlier, so I'll add something for that. Fix zoom levels. Cool. All right, well, let me show you one of the AI features. So AI features can detect filler words, but it can also detect any word you want, supposedly. So let's say we want to get rid of all the ands. It's gonna be chaos. Let's do it. And so this uses a key, so you need to add a key in settings. So if we go to settings, I added my Anthropic key using Sonnet here, but you can also use OpenAI. You can do a local model, which I'll probably set up at some point. I don't know what this is charging me, to be honest. I should find out. Uh-oh, did I just crash it? I'm gonna check the terminal. I might have. Refresh. Well, that's annoying. I probably lost the transcription, huh? There's no way to open the project. Maybe, I swear I've seen an open like existing project. So it's possible that it's only an Electron, or me adding this open video might have broken it. Kind of want to do the large model, but I don't want to make you guys wait for that. I'm going to do it. I think I already downloaded it. I'm just going to have to re-transcribe it, which is annoying. Okay, so I don't actually see, I should have looked at the console errors. I don't actually know why it failed, but probably because I went off of that AI screen when I was getting the filler words. All right, I'll try to reproduce that later. Let me add it to my notes of things to look into. Crash when seemingly a crash. I don't actually know if it's a crash. Crash when in the middle of finding filler words, going to settings, going back to AI. What else does this thing have? So yeah, undo. That could be crashing as well. This is the first time I ever tried undo, so maybe that's messing with things. Open to open a new video file. Sorry, a little tired. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, but I just wanted to show you kind of this new project and how I'm building off of it. Another open source project. We'll probably do like one feature, and then maybe I'll start on the pull requests back to the upstream, because I want to contribute back to the original guy, see if he'll take my PRs. Actually, while that's working, why don't we do that? I'm going to open up a new tab. One thing I hate about Warp is you can't, and I put in a feature request for this too. So Warp is my terminal app. One thing that you can't do is you can't drag a terminal tab into its own window. You can't right click. You can't move. You can't. There's nothing you do to move it to its own window. Whatever. Where am I? Okay, so I'm just in dev. This guy. Okay, here's the new undo buttons. Let's see if we have. All right, that was pushed. Perfect. I did not want to redo the transcription again. Oh, this is it. Okay, so let's start Claude. And what are we going to do? Oh, yeah, we're going to have him put some PRs into the upstream repo. Oh, I realize I'm on Sonnet. Let's go to Opus. I think I've been on Sonnet all day. I mean, 3 hours. So if there's any bugs, let's blame Sonnet. Just kidding. All right, put in. And honestly, Sonnet would do perfectly fine with putting in PRs, but I'm nowhere near my limit for this week. I think my limit resets on Monday. I don't know. It depends what account this is. Put in a PR. Here's the thing. You know what? I'm going to put in multiple PRs. Put in, here's what I'm going to say. Systematically put in PRs upstream for all the major changes we made to the base projects. Now, why am I saying it this way? Well, he may not want all of my features, but here's the challenge. Those features may depend on changes from, different features. So I don't know how well they're coupled. If features are coupled, then package them together. What else? I don't want to change some of the build stuff I changed. See, that's what's going to make this really challenging is like, I'm not testing on Windows. Maybe it doesn't want my build changes, but we'll see. Claude will figure it out. And then here's the other thing. So I kind of wanted to test, but I haven't put in any work into like setting up Playwright for it to actually test. But I could probably use a Chrome browser MCP or something like that real quick to have it go check its changes. It's just, it would have to probably use the original fork and then patch in one feature at a time. We'll see. We'll see how it figures out how to do it. Let's actually go into planning mode. I have the original fork checked out at where is it? Cut scripts base, and then it's nested under there. I just remember that. For you to test each patch as needed. Include before and after screenshots where possible. Cool. And I don't know if my MCP for Chrome or browser MCP is actually set up at the moment. It'll hopefully figure all that out. Cool. So while that's working on a plan to put in those PRs, I'm going to go look at, I got a couple tabs open here. This is me running the back end separately. I'm gonna kill this. I think because I was running the front end or the back end through the front end, I don't need a separate tab for that. This is a different thing I was working on. We're gonna close up this tab as well. This is the original fork is running front end here, and this is the original fork. This is the one I'm running right now, I think. Yeah, so it's just hot reloading every time I make a change using Vite. All right, this is the redo. It's already checked in. So we can start on the next feature, but I kind of also just want to let this guy work. And let's see. So again, jumping around. Did this finish? You know what? It is using the larger model to transcribe. So it's probably why it's taking longer. I could jump onto another thing. Yeah, see, I turned on browser MCP. That's this extension right here. The thing is, if I do jump over here, it's going to get confused. But you know what? Claude can handle it. Let's just do it. All right, first thing on the list, crash. We'll hold off on that. Fix zoom levels. Yeah. Disable undo at start. I think we'll do that because we just did the redo. Undo is It's like even before transcription, it's enabled, right? Is that what we saw? I think so. Yeah, it's like right here already. Undo is enabled from the beginning after choosing a video. It should be disabled by default until you take your first recorded action. All right, it's using some third-party open source thing to track. It's a web package, I think, to track actions that can be undo and redid. All right, while that works, I'm gonna cut to one other thing. So, for the folks that saw the video where I had to clean this up and take it apart, and it had a weird problem where it wasn't working unless powered on, and then it wouldn't work at all because I needed to do a BIOS update, and it required the battery to be charged, and the battery just wasn't charging. So that resolved itself. Somebody on Reddit was telling me to clean it up again or something. I don't know. It ended up fixing it just by opening it up and cleaning it a bit more. But I played like all night once on it, and then I left it charging overnight and came back the next day, 2 days later, I don't know, and it would kept booting to the BIOS menu and saying it couldn't detect the SSD. It's a NVMe 1 terabyte cheap SSD, and so I haven't been able to play it in like 2 weeks. This is the ROG Xbox Ally X, stupid name. But yeah, long story short, after almost pulling the trigger on some 2 terabyte NVMe RAM, I couldn't. It's like triple what it should be right now. It's just so expensive. I thought it was just RAM, but no, it's SSDs as well. So I realized I actually had a 1 terabyte 990 Pro from Samsung, right? Yeah, I had one in my NAS, and I barely use my NAS, so I just salvaged it from there for now. I'll buy another one in a year when prices drop again. But yeah, so I was worried I bricked it. I was worried I bricked it before, and I was really worried I bricked it when the SSD stopped working. But it is working, and I had to reset up the whole OS. It's Windows 11 plus all the ROG stuff, Asus stuff, and now I'm re-downloading my games. So I got Forza on here, and I'm trying to get Crimson Desert right now. But yeah, that was the last part of that saga. Hopefully the last part. But yeah, I really missed it when it was gone. And I realized this thing is more valuable than I actually remembered. Because when it's not around and someone's using my Xbox, or I don't know if you noticed this TV's off or the screen's off, this monitor's off, because my PC's gone. My niece just had had a party for her birthday, and I let her borrow my PC for actually 2 weeks now. I'm going on the second week, and because I set up open source Guitar Hero for them, yet another rhythm game it's called. If you haven't played it, check it out. But I got 2 guitars, drum set, 2 mics. Anyways, I set it up over there because I hadn't been using my drum set or anything, and so she needed my PC for that. So that's why I can't play Forza or Crimson Desert on the PC upstairs, and can't play it on the Xbox downstairs unless I wanted to like stream it on my phone, which didn't really feel like doing. So yeah, finally back up and running with that. You know what? I don't think anyone's watching, but I realized I wasn't looking to see if anyone was. Let me double check. YouTube, anyone? Okay, cool. And I think there's no delay anymore on YouTube. So if you're around for the last stream, there's like a 5-minute delay somehow. I think that's fixed. All right, cut that out. Back on topic. So did this figure out what's going on? It says the issue is that set transcript and load project change words, segments, language, which are tracked by partialize. So the temporal store gets a snapshot. Is using temporal as the library I was thinking of? I've heard of temporal before for tracing events. Not tracing events, but tracking events. Whatever. Maybe that's what it is. Making undo appear enabled before any user edit The fix is to clear the temporal history after transcription finishes and after loading a project. I mean, that's not gonna completely fix it, right? Because even before this finished transcription, it was loading the transcription, it showed undo. So I don't necessarily love that fix, but I'm gonna just let it be for a second here so that I can actually show you guys the AI feature from earlier without it crashing. Hopefully without it crashing. All right, detecting filler words. Also, it shows it as red, meaning I think this means the backend's not running. So I don't want to go to settings again and mess with it, but there may be a problem with the status indicator. Okay, now it's green. That's weird. Yeah, so I found a make. You know what? Here's another feature. The detected filler words. Oh, it went beyond just like and you knows. Repeated word indicating stammering. Stating sentence. Oh, starting sentence. Starting sentence unnecessarily with a so. Basically, filler word. Right, filler word. So and right. So actually, okay. And so there's a bunch of ands. That's my user specified one. And it's supposed to show them over here. That's, oh, maybe it's only after I apply. 67. All right, let's apply them. 67. 67. There's the and. So I don't know what this would sound like without and. It'd be like, we've got the different stages. Then just jump in. That's just, I don't think this transcription is right, or I talk weird. I talk weird. That sounds weird. I'm curious. What does this say? Like, if I see, I want to be able to jump right there, but I can't. Let's go here. From Claude Code Online. There we go. Nothing crazy. Nothing like. Hopefully that's not too loud for you guys. Amazing, but just wanted. You know what? I don't think you can hear it. All right, here we go. You should be able to hear it now. I just unmuted on OBS. See how complex I could make use of vibe coding. So I just want to show you guys what I've got here real quick. So this was based on as a. So that's a bad transcription, right? I said so. This was. I think I did say this was twice, or whatever. This was based on, and it put basically done as clone of all that. Ooh, the boop boop is too loud. Sorry, I forgot about that. In this stream, my computer is way too loud. So that's a bad transcription, and I used a large model, which is really annoying. So this is actually one other thing we need to fix. We need to be able to edit words, but not just single words, like back-to-back words, like phrases, because I didn't say basically done or based on done. I said based on. So I'm going to start fresh. Let me go back and see exactly what I said. Show you guys what I've got here real quick. So this was based on as a clone of. Based on as a clone of. Yeah, so I'm a terrible speaker. That's what it is. Yeah, so it tried to make sense of the phrase based on as a clone, that's what I said, but that's not what it heard. All right, but the fact that it's getting rid of right in the middle, Pitt has right and, so let's see, is that actually a filler right, or is that a real right? So I'm going to start fresh. So we've got a ton of the features that ball pit has, right? Oh, it was a filler word. Okay. What was the other one? A beat so far. Yeah, that's not a filler word. And character, we've got the different speeds that beats for. We've got. Yeah, so that one's wrong. So it just literally finds, even though it's using AI, it just literally finds keywords that it thinks are filler words, no matter where they are in the sentence. So you have to be a little careful about using that. And there's 67 of them. So anyways, I don't think I would ever export this without the filler, just like with no filler words, or maybe I would. But yeah, you definitely want to be a little more careful here. But there's probably some feature changes in here. Like, for example, what if I don't want to remove so's? I mean, this one is filler. I've got here real quick. So this is, this was. I mean, this whole thing is filler. So I probably want to delete this whole thing. I just want to show you guys what I've got here real quick. And then you can just delete this. Right? You don't need any of that. Well, you need this was done as. So you need to restore this one. Say this was. I don't even know how I can make this make sense. I've got here real quick. This is based on done as a clone. I don't even know what I said. Yeah, see, this is not, it's not good enough, right? Like I can't make this work, like partly because I can't go to the thing I want to click on. So we got to add that feature sooner than later. What else do we need to add? We probably need like timestamps or something. That's one thing that's like obviously missing here. Visually show timestamps. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I want to be able to select a time range and export just that time range. Because if I go to export, there's no, it just exports anything that's not cut out. There's no way to, as far as I know, that doesn't export these 54 words, right? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it does say this, word level cuts require re-encoding, which is kind of confusing because this thing is re-encoding, but it defaults to fast. It's like, why don't you just, I cut out words, so why don't you default to this? Because it takes longer, I guess. But if you do try to do this, does it give you a warning? No, it doesn't even give you a warning. I mean, this is the warning, but it's not even red. So that's one thing I might change as well. So I'm putting a whole backlog here. Defaults to re-encode and make the warning stronger when switching back to fast with cut out words. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I'm basically thinking up product requirements and changes as I go. I'm not going to get to all of them today. So this would just export everything except the cutout words. I don't want to do that right now. The other feature I wanted to show you, create clips. AI analyzes your transcript and suggests the most engaging segments for a YouTube short or social media clip. So this is not great, and maybe it's because I'm using Sonnet. So I'm going to click this. Another thing I don't like about this is it doesn't give me a choice here when I'm about to edit which AI it uses. And maybe that's fine. Like maybe people only ever have one of these AIs selected. But what if I had multiple and maybe I think AI is really good at filler words, or Sonnet's really good at filler words, but I want Opus for creating clips or whatever. I think I should be able to change the model and the provider here. So that's another thing. Change model and provider on the filler words and create clips tabs. Now, another reason why I think this is important is because it's not clear what's using AI and what's not. I mean, okay, maybe that's a dumb thing to say because they're both under the AI tab, but transcription doesn't use AI. But that's not clear because I'm not under, I mean, it's assumed maybe because you're not under the AI tab, but I feel like it should be a little bit more clear that the AI uses the local model. So maybe, I mean, when you're about to, like when you open a new file, you do choose a model to transcribe. So like maybe we make that more clear by, maybe we even have an AI model do to transcription. Probably not. I know OpenAI does transcription remotely, but who's going to want to pay for that? And so it's like better. All right, there's a few ways to solve that problem. For now, I think the one change I would make is maybe you include what model was used to transcribe this and be clear that it's not AI. All right. Make it clear what model is being used and was transcription. Note it is not AI. All right, so that's just a user experience thing. There's a problem with the backend status being red until you go to it. Backend status was showing red until I went to settings. Lots of little things. But yeah, you can see that it's on the local host here, and I could restart it if I wanted to. All right, so we're using Claude. We found, what is it? We did some short clips here, and it suggested 3 different ones. And then I did add this. This contains words level cuts will re-encode on export. So why did I add that? Well, all exports, as far as I could tell, were not cutting out words. So if the clip that it chose as a best clip included make, so whatever, any of those words, then it would just silently include them in the export. And so I fixed that. So now it actually does do the cutting in the export, but it warns you that it uses the re-encode, which, you know, honestly, who wouldn't use re-encode? Like, I kind of want to just get rid of fast. It's not that slow. I mean, maybe if it's a really big clip. Oh, did I write down export selected words? Yeah, let me do that. Exports selected parts. Cool. Because there's no way to, I don't even know if you can select like this and then select again. No, that selects everything. What about, I'm using shift click, but what if I used shift and then I used command? No. Control? No. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing. Be able to select. What is it called when it's, is it incongruent? That's not the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, be able to select non sequitur, non-sequenced words. It's probably the wrong word, but you get it. You get it. I get it. That's all that matters. These are to-do lists for myself, okay? Any other weird things to note? The file name's weird. Like, where did I get that weird name from? That's not the file name I imported. What's up with the random temp.mp4 name? I'll fix that out. Fix that later. See, that's temp random stuff. All right, so I could export this. I'll just show you that. This is another thing that I added. So it actually would pop up saying you can find your files in this really obscure local private folder. And I'm just like, why? Why not let me choose where to export them and choose a name? So that's what we did. It doesn't, it either finishes like immediately, I guess it does say saved, or it does it in the background. Okay, yeah, it takes a second. Okay, so this is 24 seconds, 38 seconds, 26 seconds. The UI is pretty good here. I didn't mess with too much of that. Just this part. Oh, you can preview it as well. I spent like 1 weekend. I had Claude running locally. I spent like 1 weekend. I had Claude running. Here's a problem though. It doesn't stop when it gets to the end of the 38 seconds or 24 seconds or whatever. And also, this is a AI description of like what the video should be about, not actually the words that are included in the video, which is a choice. Like, okay, fascinating demonstration of running AI development loops for days, straight from just a phone, showing how accessible AI-powered game development has become with tools like Claude Code. Claude Code. Cloud. Yeah, that's another thing is you should be able to put in, we talked about this on my last stream with Whisper Flow, but you should be able to put a dictionary. That's not the right word either. It's not dictionary. Maybe it is a dictionary. There's like 2 things. There's a dictionary and then there's like a shortener. Whatever. Watch my last stream. So let's do this. Custom dictionary words, e.g. Claude Ooh, but that's the thing. If you say Cloud Code and you always swap it with Claude Code, what if I just said Claude on its own and that showed up as Cloud? Would I always want to swap Cloud with Claude? Probably not. For now, I'll do Claude Code is actually Claude Code. All right, we'll come back to that. I don't think that one's as simple to fix as I think. But there was something else about this that I didn't like. Oh yeah, it doesn't stop after the 24 seconds. When previewing the clip or a clip, highlights the words included and stop at the end of the clip preview. All right. And then let me show you the other feature that I had added, which is this paste edits. So if I copy the whole thing, paste your edited transcript below, deleted words will be cut automatically, modified words are ignored, only deletions are detected. So if I paste in the exact transcript, I think it includes cut words. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Excuse me, I got hiccups. So it's smart enough. The way that I planned and then Claude implemented it is it's smart enough to handle some edge cases. I won't go through them right now. Excuse me. But I could just delete like half of it or whatever. Let's see if that how close. Oh, I deleted 9% of it. 386 words will be cut. 3 cuts will be created. 3 cuts will be created. 3 cuts will be created. What does that mean? Why? Why 3 cuts? Was that to handle an edge case? I already forgot. So that's 1 cut. Still 1 cut. So at one point it becomes more than 1 cut. Why? Okay, so now jump to 4 and then 2. Oh, is it because I'm highlighting stuff? What? That's weird. So that's 1 cut. That's 4 cuts. And then it goes back to 2. Okay, there's probably a bug there. But yeah, to handle edge cases, because like, for example, what if I wanted to cut in the middle of this? So maybe that's why it's 2 cuts. Because the other stuff was a part of a different segment. I'm not exactly sure. Might have some work to do here. But if we just kept like a chunk in the middle, let's say. So when I generated the art pipeline, I had to add notes here on how to do it. And it's getting a little long now. But normally my projects, I start with nothing in the agents MD except maybe task tracking, something about dots. Yeah, so I have stuff about dots here. It's so terrible reading my transcribed words. All right, that cuts 99%, 66 cuts. Don't know why, but let's do it. Yeah, it's just how it chunks it out, I guess. You know what? It's because it found this word probably in the stuff I kept here. Okay, yeah, that's why. But that's still not 66. That's weird that it jumped. So yeah, it's a little confused, but that's part of the problem is because I'm worried Claude is going to. I'm just gonna delete this one. Oh, restore. Ooh. Oops. Okay, undo. Let's see if undo works. I doubt it's gonna work like that. Dang it. Undo. Okay, so we gotta fix that. Undo should probably work. You know what I can do? I can just delete all these. All right, delete 33 words. And then I want to undelete this word. But I don't know why it undeleted all those. Probably because it was a cut. It was a single cut. Yeah, something a little off there. I'm just gonna put 66 cuts when paste edits finds cuts final words and includes the same word from later in the segment. All right, that one's gonna be a little trickier, but I bet if I described it to Claude, he'd figure it out. All right, this should be really short now. So if I go export this, re-encode whole thing, enhance audio. No, I'm not gonna do that. Let's say we want to burn in captions. All right, store that as the temp name. I just saw it pop up on my end, but I don't think it actually finished because it doesn't look like a valid MP4. It says the document could not be opened. This file is compatible with QuickTime Player. Isn't compatible. Really? An MP4 isn't? What if we take out the captions? Try again. Sure. It's worked before. Oh, it worked that time. Maybe something with the captions, or maybe I didn't wait long enough. Hold on. Here we go. This should be really short. The art pipeline, I had to add notes here on how to do it. And it's getting a little long now, but normally on my projects, I start with nothing in the Agents MD, except maybe task tracking, something about dots. Yeah, so I have stuff about dots here. So the funniest thing is that this video is the video where my daughter came in at the end. And then I had to cut the stream. And she wants to race. She's saying, car, car, car. You trying to drive? Honk, 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 honk. It is no PC. Jessica took it. Remember the drums? Jessica took it. No car. No car. No vroom vroom today. Oh, you look so sad. Okay, I will finish. All right. I think I'm going to call it, except I do want to show you guys what that... okay, so it came up with a plan. Wait, is this the base repo? Okay, it asked me questions. Didn't have to come up with a plan. Base repo has no contribution guidelines. Should I make each PR fully standalone inline shared utilities like is Electron build it so they can merge in any order or not dependencies between PRs and let the maintainer merge in sequence. Standard PRs. Sequence with dependencies noted. Let's do sequenced. The fork restructured docs from monolithic repo into doc. Should I include a docs restructure PR upstream or skip fork specific docs change entirely? Skip docs. The MPS GPU fix disabling MPS for faster whisper was bundled with SSE transcription in the same commit. Should it be a separate bug fix PR or stay bundled with SSE? Separate. All right, yeah, so I kind of questioned the first one. That wasn't recommended, but I think there's a reason I did it that way. All right, here's all the to-dos I was tracking with another app. I will check them into the repo. If anybody wants to check this out, you can find it on my GitHub at github.com/randroidsdojo/cutscript. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.